Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chops Podcast. My name is Steve Peterson.
And my name is Jack Hinkle.
Welcome to Chops Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the teaching trifecta, Jack. Knowing your content, knowing your teaching, knowing your students. How you doing today?
Oh, we're doing just fine. How are you doing on this fine Monday?
I am feeling better
Than
last week.
Last week, post-spring break.
Whoa. There was a demon inside my body that was coughing. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Not good.
You were not well.
Not
but you're
good.
recovered now, right?
I'm recovered and ready to go. I'm ready to go. Spring break fever's over.
And we only have like 6 weeks of school left.
6 or 7, right?
Do your kids do that? They still do 6, 7?
Yeah, they do.
Mine do it
I had a-
ironically.
I had a kid do it today to me. I was counting something up, and
That's good, though.
that is good.
That's good. You want those. You would want that.
Now, if you do it to the junior high kids, way off. Does not hit.
Does not compute. We brought in a clinician to work with the bands and from a local school, and I asked him, like, because that came up, like the 6-7 thing came up, and our kids did it. I was like, what's the 6-7 culture like at your school? He's like, oh, I did it for 2 weeks straight with my beginners, and I broke them of it. They just got so sick of me hearing it, it stopped being funny. And I was like, fascinating. Interesting take.
Culture.
So Steve, today we're taking a different path and bringing a little bit more levity to the podcast. And we've talked about this concept before, and sometimes there's like something you can learn from it. And maybe there are lessons to be had from this one, but you've coined the phrase, the beauty of live performance.
The beauty of live performance.
Yes. And you experienced some beauty this weekend playing at church.
Oh. So my setup this weekend was playing piano at church. The piano upright had been tuned before Easter, and I came back after Easter, and it sounded magnificent. It sounded great. But then when I came into church yesterday, they said, hey, just to let you know, there were a number of strings replaced this past week, and we know they're going to go out of tune and communicate when they kind of stretch out and let us know. And so when I sat down at the piano, the notes to the left of middle C, affectionately known as like B flat C3 and C3 and D3, all that, if they had 2 or 3 strings for each of the tones, they were all on different pitches. So it really sounded very twangy, like just out of tune with itself.
Are we
like
talking like a half step, a whole step, or like
half step?
Ooh.
Half steps and quarter steps, but that was for one note that was supposed to be the same. So if you were playing B flat as the root of a chord, that's all she wrote. And
well, now you're just playing it in it's a 7th chord and 3rd inversion, right?
I thought about that, how I could harness the power to get some more jazz harmony here. But that did get more slippery as church went on.
Oh, like the more out of tune?
The more out of tune, the more
Wow.
I played it. But then I also noticed that after we had practiced before, during the foot pedal, the sustain pedal, I don't even think it's called a sustain pedal, but whatever makes everything sustain on the right was not functional. So playing anything lyrically, right, was okay. We talk about this. It was a resistance training. So to play anything very smooth and connected legato, I had to press things very
Literally
firmly with
hold
my
them out.
right hand, like melody. But then my usual accompaniment patterns with my left hand, I kind of had to revoice either really close to my right hand or down an octave.
Ooh.
But, when you do the down an octave. So anyway, it was just, I was not in my comfort zone, right?
And so, and you typically, the chord changes are not improvised, but you pretty much improvise everything when you play, right?
Correct.
So you're improvising over your changes, but you're actively avoiding those notes that are out of tune, plus trying to figure out how to play sustained.
Right. And when I play like a B flat 7, like I kind of know how that feels and tastes, like where I put that in a lot of hymns or, things that we play, spirituals that we play, and they kind of have the same formula. But I could not do that same little puzzle. And so I was all out of sorts. And but it did remind me of the quote, "That's the beauty of live performance." My wife used to say that to me a lot, like in the early years teaching down in Kentucky. But like, because things would go on, and then so it's not only yourself where you're like, the show's got to go on. You got to go. You're here. Church is going on. People need your piano playing so they can sing. And here we go. And you just got to make it work, whether it's just play right hand only or redo everything or don't play or, that was the game. And I was okay with that because I kind of figured that's how I'd get out of it, was just to kind of work through it. And it couldn't change anything. But how many times we as educators have been in places where that's where you just get off stage and you're like, that's the beauty of live performance. Like, that's just like crazy sauce. How do we do that? How do we get out of that?
To answer that, even though it was a rhetorical question, we have 9 things that we could immediately come up with. So we're here with our little sheet of paper. We don't normally have like notes when we record podcasts, but this one, we wanted to just jot down a couple of like memories throughout our careers teaching of like things that went sideways during performances. And I would say none of these are tragic. Like none of these are like, oh my gosh, except maybe like one.
Right.
But the rest of them are either like eye rolling, like really, or like oh, that's wild that happened. But like you made it through. Right?
Yeah.
So these are not in chronological order, but these are in order of things we came up with. And this was how this looked. Steve shot me a text on Sunday based on the whole church thing and like was telling me like kind of what went down and said, we should talk about this on Chops. And then we kind of had a text chain back and forth of just like random things we could think about and just like wild times. So then we're like, we need to do this. So we came up with some things of Concord lore. That were like the beauty of live performances. Kicking it off, 2003 marching band.
Okay, 2003 marching band. Marching band was coming into Lucas Oil Stadium as favorites to win Class B Open State Finals, and the whole show was called Spanish Guitars, and it obviously led on and leaned on an electric guitar, an electric bass, and the whole pit and the whole thing. And the guitar was on a pit podium in the middle of the field that was the fret of the guitar, right? And we had a very talented guy playing guitar. So Scott Preheim, our technical director from the Performing Arts Center, does our sound, and he does a wireless check. And check number 1, nothing. Okay, Scott Preheim's got it figured out. Wireless check, alternate pack, go. Okay, nothing. And at this time, the introduction to the marching band had been given. And so there was this pregnant pause in the audience as, please welcome to the field, Marching Midmen. And there was nothing going on except a little scurrying of people. And I'm not sure if Scott Preheim had 2 or 3 wireless backups. But basically, at the end of it, he pulled everything out and did a hardwire, took a wire to the ramp and hardwired the whole thing. And the performer had to be on the ground instead of up on some scaffold. And went through the performance. Bottom line is, everything worked fine. Visually, he was down a level, but the band ended up winning state finals that year in 2003. But if you go back and watch a video of it, it does look a little odd because it's an amazing guitar solo, but he's like nowhere to be seen. Yeah. And then Scott Preheim on the other footage is just his hands are in his face, and he's like crouching down on the sideline. And it's something that that like really happened, and it was happening in live time with 30 seconds or however that was going. And it was because of Scott. He had all those backups, but just that suspense that you're just waiting there in a stadium full of 10,000 people. And it's like, what are we going to do? And then when you heard that bonk, the guitar, we're like, yeah, let's go. That was pretty breathtaking.
He's talked about that. Like I think when we had him on the
Yes,
show,
he
he
did
talked
talk
about
about
that
that.
moment, and I think he said what ended up happening was the pedal would sometimes just need a reboot, and it wouldn't work like the effects pedal. So he did, that was his like final resort just to see like would it work, and he did it and it fixed it. So all he needed to do was just got to reload it.
Just
you
got to
know?
reload. Okay.
That's beautiful example of live music, especially in 03, back when the electronics and the wireless systems and the mixers were pretty new, especially new to marching band, and trying to travel with that and create that setup in the 5-minute or whatever timeline you had at marching band's pretty crazy. Whereas now most groups are coming in with mixers and sound gear and it's pretty average, but that's scary stuff.
Back in the day, 2003, that was
Back at the RCA Dome.
back in the
no
RCA
longer
Dome.
exists.
That was definitely live music. That was high drama.
High
Okay.
drama.
What do we got number 2 here?
Let's fast forward 15 years, still marching band, to 2018. This one's kind of like, this one's kind of sad. This is the
This
heartbreaker.
is sad. We should have that student on. Okay.
That student would be quite good at doing a podcast
Yeah,
with us. This was another marching band scenario at state finals, and the show was called another Hispanic idea. It's called Viva el Sueño, which is Live the Dream, and similar to that guitar show, it's very influenced by Hispanic music, and we had a clarinet solo in it playing some like very low register haunting melodies, and the band had some really cool visuals to line it up.
And the student was like backfield on a stage, and all the choreography was going towards that student.
Yes. Student was mic'd, and this is like a very high-flying student, like didn't miss.
Right.
Like wouldn't miss notes or whatever. So she was very consistent. And we're at Lucas Oil, and the Jumbotron has found her, and it's coming up to her solo, and it's just silence. Just silence.
No, you heard the...
Well, if you're listening for it, you can hear it. So if the Jumbotron's on the soloist and there's no sound coming out, everyone assumes sound issue. Scott Preheim, same guy from that last show, still on staff with us. We all look at him, and he gives us it's on. I'm getting signal from her. And as Steve mentioned, you can hear the air. You can hear her air. So when you look closely at the Jumbotron, you realize that there is no ligature or reed on her instrument. And I remember walking, like we do our little walkthrough after the show's done and make sure that everything's off the field so we don't get a penalty. And I think I found her ligature, and I took it back. I did not find the reed. This student is so marching band demanding of herself that when she snapped her horn down, she snapped it so hard that the ligature and the reed snapped off the instrument and was on the ground somewhere at Lucas. And so she was doing the fingering, she was moving her air, but there was just no sound coming out during her solo.
That was a sad moment.
Now, to that student's credit, I would not say that's like her fault that fell off. That's like crazy bad luck.
That's the beauty of live performance.
Beauty of live performance, and she sold it really well.
Absolutely.
Like the only thing she could have done was like, I don't know, stolen.
Sing.
Stolen an instrument. Just like push over a freshman and take their clarinet and go.
Excuse me, buddy.
Give me this. Come on. But that was like a heartbreaking moment for that student, but the performance was sold very well, and I think all parties did everything they could.
Yeah, that student just handled that with such composure and class.
Yes.
Just nailed it. And so that was our state finals performance, and that was like a 30-second or 40-second solo.
Yeah.
Right? It was really significantly a part of the show. But in the recap, like when Scott Spradling, the director of bands at that time, did the final video, he went back in and patched her solo from semi-state.
That's cool.
So the for future viewing the solos in there.
And I remember that student, like after the fact, was not like she handled it very well afterwards.
Yes.
Like she was very professional and she was like, yeah, that stinks, but it happens, you know?
Right.
Which I'm sure she was very sad and upset that like that it happened, but the outward presentation of that was like very mature for a high school.
Well, and
junior.
let's just reflect and honor a moment about her. So she goes, whips the clarinet down, and so doesn't know that stuff had fallen off. But as she's like flutter running, jazz running to the prop, and the scene is resetting, and she brings her instrument up, and there's just a black clarinet mouthpiece and no reed and ligature.
Yeah, she's like Michael Scott
like-
when Toby comes back.
No, like the lonely feeling that must have been. But then the composure, you just go, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's tough. But that's the last sad one. That's
It
the last
is?
sad-
Good.
Well, I think so. The other ones are like, classic. Okay, skipping ahead to another one that you've been a part of. 2000 Carnival.
2000 Carnival, my second year at Concord, was definitely one of the best bands I would have had. And I mean, like in all my tenure, and the band was smoking. We played this salsa version of It Don't Mean a Thing If It Ain't Got That Swing. And I can't remember if it was Matt Harris, but it went in and out of swing, a little bit of bebop, but then salsa. And it was really spicy. And we had this young girl that was a senior that just sang it, and we played that tune everywhere, and it was hot, and it had smoking soloists, and the band was burning, and this performer, the vocalist was, and we got to our big home show, Carnival, and we did that tune again, and the band was hitting, and she comes in, and the mic doesn't work. And it went through like our one moment in time with, a full house there, and she's singing, and there's nothing, because I think there was some kind of snafu at, like, she may have pushed the off button because everything was always supposed to be on. And I just remember being like really, I wasn't mad. I was like really disappointed that they didn't get to create that moment on stage. And I remember people that I really respect afterwards were like, you should have stopped and just taken the mulligan and just like gotten the mic figured out. Like, they're like, it was worth it to do that. But that was like one of those live things. Like there it was right in front of you. And like you see this kid like singing and there's just nothing coming out. That was kind of sad. That was sad, but we did it at Jazz Cafe, so it was better.
So it was better. Have you had to like in a performance stop your band and restart? Like, have you had to do that more than like once or twice in your career?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Can you?
I don't think so. I think maybe with beginning orchestra, and that was probably like my own fault, like
Right.
counting off at a wrong tempo, something like that. Bad start on the director. But I always wonder about that, like, oh, what if this happens?
Yes.
Do you ever? I know you've worried, but I'm gonna ask this anyway. You ever worry that like when you have a featured soloist like the singer or like the guitarist that they're just gonna like not show up?
Yes.
Do you ever have a backup plan?
I think about that. I do think about that. Like, what would happen if you're doing a 5-tune set and your vocal soloist or your trumpet soloist for Portrait of Louis Armstrong doesn't show up, or they have strep throat? I think about that. Like, your lead trumpet player gets their teeth bashed in, right? They trip setting up Jazz Cafe, and they hit their teeth on the ground. Like, yeah, I've thought about that. I thought about that a lot in like what would happen in different scenarios, but the timing is crucial.
Yeah.
Right? If it's like 24 hours before and you're like home, you could probably find a ringer right? You could probably find a professional or semi-professional person, right?
Yeah, but cover the part.
But if you're like out at Purdue and you're getting ready to go on stage and, some kid breaks their leg, like something really awful happens, I don't know.
I mean, I can think of last year at Band Festival, my Jazz 2 lead trumpet player was in a baseball game, and we're, lead trumpet players at a baseball game at home, and our performances at the school. So he's close. And I had, 5 of my other trumpets were there, 4 of them, whatever. Yes. And I was like, is he coming? They're like, he's here. And so I'm introducing the band to the crowd, and I'm like looking over my shoulder each time just to see how close he is. And I'm like trying to stall and talk slow. And then somehow, like right as I put the mic down, start to count off the band, he's got his horn up, ready to go in his baseball uniform. I'm like, okay.
Yes, I do remember watching that. Yeah, in his baseball uniform. That was classic.
That's always fun. Okay, more lighthearted one. What I think would be lighthearted, okay, is Christmas Spectacular 2024. I think 2024.
Ugh.
This is
watch this one happen. That was odd.
Yeah, this one's just odd. Parade of the Wooden Soldiers, a la the
Bar from the Baritone.
I was gonna say the Radio City Rockettes, but same thing. Same thing. Yeah, Bar from the
20
Baritone.
years later. Actually, it was 20 years.
Okay. What if we did a skit of that reenactment for Christmas Spectacular one year?
Ooh. I bet we could get that guy to. We could get
Oh
that
my
student.
gosh, he'd be back. Okay, everybody, if you look under your seats, you'll find a bucket
And a toilet brush.
and a toilet brush with some lemon disinfectant and a bowl of SpaghettiOs. Okay, this was during the Parade of the Wooden Soldiers. The shtick at the end, near the end, is that all the wooden soldiers who are our color guard members dressed up as wooden soldiers, they are all lined up. There's a giant cannon that gets wheeled out, fake cannon. Little sign comes out, flag drops, it says bang. It goes along with the music. They all fall over, but then they're kind of resurrected at the end.
Yeah.
Salute resurrected is not the right word for what that is, but it
Rehabilitated. Healed.
repossessed.
They kind of love it.
They come back to that. Well, they're They're toys.
They're
They can't
toys.
die. They're inanimate.
Like
They're possessed.
Chucky.
Like
They're like Chucky. It's
no,
Parade,
that's the skit. Parade of the wood.
Parade of the Wooden Chuckies. Annabelle.
They get resurrected. Curtain falls down. End of show. Scott Preheim trains his team of tech students very, very well. Very well. And he is the one calling the show. He'll say, lights, go, curtain, go, and they know that that's their cue to make it happen. It's a great system. It is a great system. So we're coming up at the end of Parade of the Wooden Soldiers, and it's, I think, kind of right before the soldiers come back up and salute. So we have it's the coda, so like 12 measures left. We're so close to the end. And right after the cannon shot, the lights go out as the band's playing, like full-on blackout. The stage is completely dark for maybe 2 measures. And the lights come back on for the final 10. Lights go out. Just like 2 measures in the middle of nowhere, the lights just go completely out. Beauty of live music. And we watched, I'm conducting this, and I don't know what I thought during those 2 bars. I was like, what is happening? We brought it back. We go, I don't know. But we watched the video of it like later in class because that's what we do. And it was fascinating how horrible the band sounded for those 2 measures. And just the amount of notes being missed because they can't see the page. But then even more fascinating, how much better it sounded after the lights came back on.
Right.
Bum, 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 bum. What was that? Is that the bumbling puker? No, that's just the lights that went out. So what had come to happen was, I guess Mr. Preheim just said the cue too soon. And I know the student that was working at that console, and I think she was like, well, it doesn't happen here, but what he says goes, and pressed it anyway. She's like, I don't know why you call it.
It's the beauty of live performance.
Beauty of live performance. And so it was just so random, like 2 measures of darkness, literally. And then we brought it back toward the end. So It's one of those things just like, that was odd, but, nothing harmful, nothing like sad, just like,
But that again, that's the beauty of live performance, and what a great experience. Not that you want that to happen, but what a formative experience, like for all. Like little panic, we're okay. And you just go on.
Right.
You have no choice anyway. You don't have anything you should do.
No, it's live. You have no choice. It's great. I think that's true. That is like you don't want it to happen, but it's a healthy formative experience. When
It is.
Well said.
Thank you.
This is why we keep you on staff here at Chops Podcast.
Thanks, Jack.
LLC.
Okay.
Keeping them coming. Would you like 2021 guitar oboe, or would you like 2024 concert band ISMA?
What, ISMA?
Concert band ISMA 2024.
Oh, I'll take what is 2021 marching band for 200.
Go ahead.
Okay. The show was a lovely design thought of by Mr. Scott Spradling. It was called Handel and Hendrix, and it featured
was Handel Hendrix House.
Handel Hendrix House. It featured the music of George Frederick Handel and Jimi Hendrix, because the reason is because long ago they lived in the same flat at different times in London. So there was this kind of fun cross culture. So it opened with some kind of Handel, something, right? Some kind of something. And then it got into, the band got going, and then it turned into like a kind of like a woodwind quintet-ish or quartet.
It was like Hallelujah, wasn't it?
It was Hallelujah, these little interjections of band and small band and all this kind of thing going on. So it was flute, oboe, clarinet, bass clarinet, maybe something like that.
Something like that.
Okay. And it had been going well. And we get up to the performance. It was the ISMA Regional. It was at Chesterton High School. And we pulled in the van. I distinctly remember sitting in the middle row. And I remember getting a text from a student. And student who was said oboe player for that feature group at ISMA Regional Performance says, "Hey, Mr. P, I don't know what to do. I left my oboe at school."
Well, let's just go borrow one from the... Oh, it's marching band. No one has oboes.
I was like, oh, dear. I was kind of like the woodwind guy, so that all things woodwind ended up between Mrs. House and myself. So we were looking at things, or I guess that was Cameron Bradley. And I thought it over quietly, and
Steve wisely kept this one to himself.
I kept this one to myself.
Wisely.
I did not
None of us knew.
Did not let the cat out of the bag. And I talked to the girl in the parking lot because we had just all gotten there together. So we got off the buses and vans and talked. And I said, "Here's what you're going to do." And I said, "You're just going to hold your clarinet, and you're going to act like you're playing, and you're not going to play a lick because you're going to be in the wrong key." "Can I rewrite it?" "No, we're not going to rewrite it. We're not going to relearn it, and we're just going to take it." And she did. Nothing was ever said. Nobody ever followed up. And if somebody would have really listened, like, "I wish the oboe could have been a little bit more in the mix," and be like, "Dude, there's no oboe. It's a clarinet." Whatever. So okay. So that was another student that was like on it, was like Miss Dependable, right? Miss, I'll do whatever it takes for this section. Miss, I'll be there before you. And rolls up her senior year for regional contest and no instrument. And just the panic that she must have noticed when she got to the back of the instrument trailer was like, oh, no. And she had to go on and, talk to me about it, which I'm sure just didn't feel good. And her belly being terrified. But then also, like, we got this. Like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Whatever we're going to do this. And so this solution is you're going to fake it on clarinet and keep it to yourself.
Okay, 2 thoughts to share. One that's about Steve, one that's about that student. again, not a good thing. Nothing we would condone bad. However, this is like when to make those mistakes is like in high school. Like this is your safety zone, like training ground as kids. And like that stinks that she forgot it, but she's never going to do anything like that again because she knows what it feels like and how horrible that probably felt. So she's getting an experience that is like unpleasant, but it's kind of healthy.
Yes.
That and I think that's valuable. Also, flipping it, going to Steve's side of things, there is a number greater than 0 at the amount of teachers that would have crashed out on their kid for not bringing an oboe. That number is much greater than 0, just in the world. And crashing out at a kid may be a strategized choice in some moments of your teaching careers. I think Steve handled this in a way that's very healthy for Steve, but also very healthy for the kid. Steve went through, like, what can we do? Like, that was step one. Like, how do we fix this? It's not, where's your oboe? Not here. We talked about this. You know it's not here, so why ask it? It doesn't matter where the oboe is. It's not on the bus. So step 2. Okay, what can we do? Right? Like, you just wanted to problem solve because you're in a limited amount of time. And you wanted to help that kid, 1, be calm, figure out a solution, but 2, still be successful in some way.
Yes.
And she found success being able to stand still with a clarinet and look like she's playing. Where's your oboe? You can all know how that
How
plays out.
stupid can you be?
Okay.
Do I need to pack every instrument for you?
I probably did the next contest. I probably had 3 oboes in the back.
Mr. Peterson, why is your backpack so big? Are you getting scoliosis? Okay. Okay, that means I'll take ISMA, the ISMA 2024.
Oh gosh,
Okay, this one.
this one hurts.
This one hurts, and I feel
yeah.
bad for you because you were on stage. I was off
Did it
stage.
happen to you?
Well, it happened to both of us. The first one was
Okay.
you,
Oh gosh.
and the next one was me. No, you had 2 of them. You had 2. Okay, so this is ISMA Concert Band. This is our contest organizational performance, and this was when Steve and I taught the. Was this the 4th band or the 3rd band?
I think it was the 4th band. It might have been the end of 4th. No, it would have been 7th period Sinfonietta. No, wait, 6th period Sinfonietta. Is that what we call it? 6th period.
Yeah, right. Wait, so
No,
were there
could've
4
just
or
been-
3 bands?
Oh, it could have just been concert band. If it was in 24, it was concert band. Sorry.
Okay, so
That's no fun.
it's our youngest band, and we're performing at our own school. We're quite fortunate. You'll see why this is funny in a second.
Everything of this is just gonna scream, "Take away your teaching license now!" Because
Yeah, stop
it is
listening to the
so
podcast. This is
idiotic. It's just like defies any kind of reality. Okay,
and yet here we are.
here we are.
Okay, so we are performing at home at our contest organizational. We host it, so therefore we get to go first. We're the first band on. We get to set the stage.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Wait, go ahead and say it again. What you just said.
We set the stage.
We set the stage.
We set
We
the
set the
stage.
stage because we set all the percussion equipment up for the students. Unlike when you're going to a visiting site, you have to schlep everything on. Ours would have been like packed after school and been on stage. So all the kids had to bring in were sticks and mallets and music.
And if you want to fly into our DMs right now and say stupid,
Stupid.
bad
It's like-
teacher, unsubscribe, feel free. So we're warming up in our own band room because we have the luxury to do that. Kids are in their tuxes and dresses. They look all good. We talk about the performance order. Okay. What was the tune we played first? Accolade? I don't know. They all sound the same.
But we sent the percussion out.
We sent the percussion out
Gosh,
first
this is
because
where
most
doesn't that make sense?
most
What happened?
Where's your oboe? Where's the oboe?
Gosh.
Okay.
this-
Okay, we actually have gotten some comments. So like, I like listening to this podcast, but the changes in volume make it a little harder to listen to.
Sorry.
We turned on the compressor today. Hope it's compressing. Okay.
Okay.
We send out the percussion first because that's what most band directors do because they take the longest to set up because they have the most gear, whatever. We send out the 4th row. Walk in your cute little row. Stand in front of your chair. Don't sit till we get there. The 3rd row. The 2nd row. The 1st row. Everyone got a chair? We okay? Okay, have a seat. Percussion you set up? Okay. Steve is conducting the first tune. I'm going to conduct tune 2 and 3. Steve is getting up there, and he's about to perform. They're about to be introduced, and then one percussionist in the back row goes, wait, hold on. Sprints off the stage in our own show,
and you hear the stage door open, and it's just we're sitting there on stage, all dressed up, and the lights are on, and
the kids are like.
So I get off the podium. I'm like nodding at the judges, like, holy Schneikeroos, what's going on?
And I'm like standing off stage watching this happen, and all I'm thinking is, oh, thank God this didn't happen to me. Stay tuned for more.
But so what happened? The boy comes back.
So the boy comes back.
Running back
with whatever he needed. Steve's like, okay, we okay? Okay. Introduce us, go. First tune, off and down. Steve gets off the podium. But you have not gotten off stage yet. I can remember this part. I think you're still on stage.
Because I helped them flip.
Because you helped them flip. Steve has a good technique. This is okay, and all the chaos that's about to happen. This is the serious one you want to listen to. Many ensembles, after the last note, an audience starts clapping. The bands will start to like flip and get ready for the next tune during the applause. If you want a slick, clean, nice look for your band, tell them to freeze while the audience is clapping. And let them turn and acknowledge the audience. This is when you do your turnaround bow kind of thing. Then, after the audience has died down, you turn back to your kids and go, switch. And that's when they start moving, getting set up for the next tune. I would never have thought of that, but you told me that early on.
Shout out to Gay Burton. She's the one that told me that.
There you go. So Gay Burton was the originator of that at the Concord Culture, but very clean look, very professional look. Typically in your other factors category at the bottom, which we
for those of you that have taken your band to contest, you know the other factors, like how you always get a 1 unless you're like eating Cheetos on stage. The plot thickens here. Okay, so I get up there. Tell them to switch the music. And we get ready for tune number 2. There's only 3 tunes. We already whiffed the first one. Okay?
And the percussionist leaves again.
He leaves again.
Is it the same kid?
Yes. Okay. But this time, did you come out?
No, I stayed back.
I was still on stage.
I think you were still out and you're waiting for it. So then that kid came back.
Oh my gosh. Like off stage, like out of the hallway into the band room. Back into the hallway, back on the stage, runs on to parks it. So now we're like going 0 for 2. The band plays fine.
Yeah, the second tune they had a good run on. I can remember that.
But you conducted it.
I conducted it.
Okay, so by this time, I got myself off stage. I was like, thank God to get out of this chaos.
Steve just went into his car, still in his tux, just shut the door. Leaned the chair back like Jim in that one scene when Karen comes after him. He's wearing the fake mustache.
Oh, my gosh. I was like, well, thank God I'm off stage.
And I'm like, thank God that's over with.
Over.
Finally, we can end this concert.
There's a third tune.
Third tune, switch. Percussion leaves again. And at that point, I lost emotion. Like, I didn't even feel anything anymore. I'm like, wow, this is real. This is happening right now. This is real. Which, by the way, this is not meant to, like, throw down on. We're not identifying the kid. It doesn't matter.
No.
This is live performance. Like, this is why we're talking about it, because it happened and we can laugh at it now. And we
was not funny at the time.
No. And I do think there may have been some possible extrinsic factors that led to some equipment that was not the kid's fault.
There was a little bait and switch going on that everybody wasn't. There were mixed signals. Some people thought that everything was preset. Others didn't. And there was not a clear A to B.
So the adults can take a bit of the
I'll
L
take,
on this.
I'll take the biff. I'll take it. Jack will take that all day long.
But third tune, still running off stage, getting the next piece of equipment. It's like it's not laughable. There's no emotion left to be felt, because the first tune you're like, oh my gosh, seriously? The second tune you're like, are you kidding me? The third tune you're just like, at this point it's just fascinating. It's just like, wow, look at you.
I remember being backstage and that student scooted off stage left towards the ropes, and I was just like, I think I chased the student down out in the hallway. I was like, this is in the middle of an ISMA contest. I was like, what is going on? That kid. So nobody talks, nobody says anything during the performance. The band played fine, but obviously marred by this interruption, 3-time interruption, in this very unprofessional pause.
Did you listen to those tapes?
Yes.
We did get, I
I
think, a 1.5 on that one.
I think we got dinged pretty well by one judge.
By one judge. Or maybe it was a 2. I don't know.
I think it was only one, and the other ones were like, what? I don't know. I don't understand the problem.
Yeah, the other 2 are super nice about it.
Like, good posture, good attention to detail.
You guys, really nice outfits there.
Wow. So great to have them smiling up on
And then the one judge was like, this is completely unacceptable.
This is
Concord.
unacceptable and that was embarrassing. That was very embarrassing. And we did follow up. I don't think I followed up with that student that night because I was like, no.
Can't go there.
No, visited on Monday.
Right.
Because at that point, I was like,
it's an emotional release valve for the teacher. There's nothing that can be done.
Right.
For
It
the student.
was already done. Obviously, the system was broken. And the student got busted for it, and it was just kind of sad, which is a bummer because it's like your most formal concert of the year, and for all the other kids that are in that band, they had to be held hostage
during that situation. Well, and the other bad part is usually, like, we would know if it's not fully on the kid, and we didn't know yet at that point, so we were just like upset.
Yes.
And later we found out kind of what was really going on. We're like, okay, that makes sense.
Kind of.
But we right. So it's just kind of odd. So
but the fact that we were the host band and we were the first band on, which meant when we rehearsed 3 hours earlier in the day, we could have left everything
there
exactly as it was. And that's the beauty of live performance.
That's the beauty of live performance, and somehow we still have our teaching licenses after that day.
Gosh, that was.
No, we got gold.
That was humbling.
That was bumbling. Okay, take it home, Steve. Last one. Snow go.
Okay, 2003, Christmas Spec, Max Jones, Concord Christmas Spectacular, matinee that we give on the Friday afternoon for the students of Concord Intermediate School and one of the elementaries, perform for a full cast. Traditional tune of the first half, vocal solo with full band orchestra, White Christmas, full choir enters. It magically snows when we get to the refrain of I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. There's a system set up way above in the rafters that back in that time, in the early 2000s, Scott Preheim had rigged up this system between 2 horizontal pipes up top, and they were on different ropes, and so they were kind of being toggled back and forth. Between the 2 pipes was basically like a cradle of material, and so the idea was that you rocked that rope back and forth, and then the snow would gently fall. And it was kind of like these waxy flakes. Right. And with the right lighting, it was really cool, and it would accumulate. And they would always try to get Max, Mr. Jones, try to get his podium just right so the snow would fall on him. Yeah. You know, and it was always kind of like this little shtick going on behind the scenes. But anyway, so we're up there on the matinee, and I remember being in the control room watching this. And then, White Christmas, and here comes the refrain, and Scott Preheim's like, okay, lights go. Snow go. Guys, snow go. Okay, backstage, stage left, snow go. And it was very cartoon-like because you saw, if you talk to Brian Golden about this, tell you the same thing. You saw 1 or 2 flakes come down, and then all of a sudden the wrath of Antarctica just came down on Max Jones. The entire bucket of snow came down, and it came down to And it kind of hit the ground, and when it hit Max, we're talking like 6 inches of snow. Like hit him, he kind of shrugged, like, what was that? And all the snow came out in one pole. And we all just went, and it was going, but it just like destroyed the stage with the snow. And I just remember laughing. I don't know if that was the right response. I was not in front of children at the time, but I was like, oh my gosh, Max Jones just got dumped on with the Go Snow. And so apparently what had happened is, as Scott Preheim was saying, snow go, and the students were like toggling back and forth on the ropes, it just didn't quite get over the edge. So I think finally someone was just like, wham! And it just flew out, and all of it was done in one.
And that story has lived on for 20-some years.
Yeah, that's that. And again, and so the kids went like the little kids in the audience. And of course, what do? You just got to go on. It doesn't matter. Like
he's like sifting snow off of his score. And it always gets in the orchestra kids because they sit up front. Those guys get wailed on. It's like in their F holes.
Oh, yes.
That's rough time.
Yes.
But makes for a good story. I have a bonus one.
Oh,
we can cut this if it's not that funny. And I don't even know if you remember this one. I think it was Carnival 23.
okay.
Oh, no. There's one more we have to tell. This was Carnival 18. And then Carnival 23. But, okay, Carnival 23, we'll start with this one. Then we'll go back to 18. There is, in Carnival, we like to do some skits and like some funny things, even though it's a mainly instrumental performance. And sometimes we steal some ideas from the Blue Man Group. I don't know if we can out this or not, but we're doing it. But they have a shtick that they plant some audience members. Actually, they're not plants there. It's real. But some audience members sometimes arrive late to their shows, and they do a late arrival scene where they interrupt the entire concert and send out an alarm, and it's like, woo, 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 and it's like late arrivals flashing on the screen. Then they have like a live TV, live cam that follows the people, like bright spotlight. They're like, hi, we're late, and everyone else gets to see the live feed of it. So Scott Spradling, our director at the time, was like, we need to steal that, and we did, and we've planted Nicole Naus's parents.
Okay.
They were the late plants, and we scripted a time to do it. Obviously, they were told ahead of time. They're like, "You okay with doing this?" Yes, whatever.
Yeah, but the kids
didn't know. The kids did not know.
So
that
it was kind
coming.
of a prank on the kids and the audience.
Yes, and everyone, like, no one was in on it except the staff, and we knew it was happening. And so I was told we were going to do, I think I recorded some sort of like auto-tune voice singing thing.
You're
to go
late.
Over it. Yeah. And so Scott Spradling, who was directing the band, like talked to the tech crew and said, okay, at this measure, we're going to cue it. So I was the cue guy, and talking to Austin Robbins, who was working in the tech booth at the time, I was like counting down 4, 3, 2, 1 just to let him know when it was going to happen.
Okay.
And the kids don't know what's going on. So the tune's going, and I'm like, okay, Austin, coming. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready, go. And on go, he hit the button, and just the lights changed. There was no sound.
Oh.
Do you remember this?
No.
Yeah. So the sound was supposed to be this like alarming, boo, but it didn't happen for some reason. And Austin triggered it, so I don't even know what happened. He did his job very well. And the lights came on the back, so the whole thing lit up. But it didn't like abruptly stop because there was no sound. So the kids are like, wait, do we go?
Alarm?
And like, of course, Scott knows. Like, he knows what's going on. So he cut off the band, and he's like, what's going on? Like, kind of thing. He was trying to sell it, but like, he's like, this isn't right. And so eventually, maybe like 3 or 4 seconds after, the sound finally got triggered, and they sent the people in. But it was like, if you weren't on the inside, you probably didn't know. But for the rest of us, we're like, what? But then it all happened. It worked out. The late arrivals were there. Okay, I think this one's funny. So you're with me?
Yeah,
3 T's?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's a skit that's been passed down through the generations called The 3 Trees, and it's like a children's story. And the shtick or the hook is like repetition, and so you always bring out the the three trees and the three characters, and it's always about the hunter and the woods and the deer and the babbling brook and all this kind of stuff. So we get to this point. Instead of the three trees, it was Scott Spradlin came up with the 3 T's, as in T-Rexes. And we had each of these kids in costume in an inflatable T-Rex outfit, right? So again, they
were quite in vogue at the time.
Yeah, that was kind of like when they were first on the scene,
Yeah.
right? And so every time the narrator would be like, and there, and there. Is that what it was?
Something like
Something
that.
like that. That is a dun, 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 dun. And then at that time, then the 3 T's would come out and pose, right? And then it would go on to some little interlude and then the next part of the story. But it always came back to the 3 T's. So the first time they come out, like these 3, I think they're 3 trumpet boys, Mo, Larry,
Shocking. Yeah.
Mo, Larry, and Curly. Like they come out like, and they're okay, right?
And they had really good comic presence. Like they knew how to play the role well.
And so they had the short arms and the big head and they're dancing around, but they were so they do that and they go off. Okay. So this shtick happens like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
kind of increasing in comic volume.
Right.
Right.
But little did we know that the comic volume was not going to be the 3 T's. But one of the boys, as he came out, had sprung a leak with his T-Rex. And so you guys have all seen that. I'm sure you've seen that person at basketball games. But it was like there, and the third one would come out and you're like, his head is flopped over. Right?
Decapitated.
Looks like he was
T-Rex.
decapitated. Okay? Then he runs off and people are giggling. Then we do it again. There. And he comes out and it's like his shoulders are showing and his tail is flat. So by the last time that he comes out, it is just a bag of nylon hanging off this boy, and he's got this plastic mask on that he can see out of, but it was like totally dead.
He's trying to mess with it while he's there.
It was this so much better.
Yes.
It was so much better because it was cute before.
It was
but,
ha 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 giggle.
But that was spontaneously hilarious. And not only for the audience, but for the kids in the band that were the live soundtrack, and for the staff and the directors, all of that to go on, and it just melted, and it just was hysterical. That was a good one. The 3 T's.
There,
and
kind of there.
Wah,
Still trying. Good times. So if you are coming into contest pretty soon and you're like, oh my gosh, how is this happening? We know the feel.
Talk to these guys.
Yeah, we got you. We are not professing that there is perfection all the times.
Just listen. Please don't tell anybody, okay? Just keep it within the Chop circle, okay?
This is Chops Nation, no passports, please. Just keep it right here. Keep it in the nation.
Okay.
That's
well,
it.
Please continue to hit that subscribe and like button.
And we've been at 49 ratings on Apple for 2 weeks. Can somebody go in there and get that 5th star?
I'm going to go in there and do it.
You've already done it. You can't rate twice.
I'm gonna do it. Okay. So for Steve Peterson,
Jack Hinkle.
we're out of here.
See ya.